Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. My name is Eric Kasloff, and with me, as always, is Zanzibar Guggenheimer. Say hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. My name is, who is it? Zanzibar? Zanzibar Sanzowitz, Moscow, Peacock Jr.
Yeah, I got sick of Larry, so I hired someone else.
That's right. Every show we need to do a brand new cold open, I think, just to keep people on their toes. Keep them coming back for more. Oh, Eric, so how's everything been? Hey, there is one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and we talked about this, I think, a couple of days ago, but how is Hillsborough Road coming?
It is going very well. The second draft is done. I am working on the new draft right now. There is going to be some differences. Originally, when I first wrote it, it was set nowadays. Then
Yeah.
around the second draft, it was set in the 80s.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking, does it need to be set in the 80s? Then I was like, you know what? It can't take place nowadays. All I'm going to say is get ready for the first 1920s slasher movie.
That's right.
No.
You and I.
Hillsborough Road to me is much bigger than one movie. So I'm going to say now, I'm not going to give anything away. The new draft could be set in the 80s, or it could be set in 1996.
Very, very nice. And you and I talked about this, and I think you should always be prepared to go with your original vision, but then be prepared, obviously, to change it up, just in case you do have a set of investors come in and go, well, if you set it in the 80s, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more costly. But if you do maybe a decade later, it could be just a little less money. So,
and that's where we differ, because I'm like, fuck the investors. I'm going to try to make my movie.
Okay. I can't come back to that. I don't know what I need to find a corner and curl up into a ball and hold my blanket. I mean, look, obviously, I mean, that's perfect. That's that's perfectly fine.
I'll go to Indiegogo. Screw you. All right. How about that?
Okay. That'll be perfect. But there'll be one guy going, hey, this seems like a little bit, the budget's out. Could you make it in the 90s? And then what are you going to tell that Indiegogo guy?
Well, no, the Indiegogo people, that's not how it goes, Larry.
I know, but still, you know how people are. They get on there and
they don't make demands. They're just donating to get cool stuff.
Yeah, but some people might make demands.
No,
it'll be me.
That's the whole thing with Indiegogo. They don't make demands. They're silent. They're silently giving you money.
But they can't email you and go, hey man, what's the deal? Oh, well, maybe Indiegogo is the way to go.
Yeah, have you never used it?
No, I've never used it.
Oh
no, I've been my own producer or investor.
Well, you know what? I'll explain that to you at another time, how crowdfunding works.
Well, as a matter of fact, we have on this week our guest who might be able to explain it a little bit better. And then you guys can explain it to me both while you're on the phone. But we have, oh gosh, he's a producer. He's a director. He's a writer, a screenwriter, and he's an all-around talented guy. His name is Joe Lujan. Hi, Joe.
How's it going, Joe?
Hi. How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
Good.
Good. Thank you for being on. I tell you what, we're getting very lucky with all our guests are making advances in their career. Which I think is exciting because it kind of takes up us a notch in how we get to interact with you guys, Joe. the guys that are on the inside and getting ready to hear the stratospheric success, So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I know that, how long have you been, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Were you a director or writer first, or did you want to produce?
I honestly, I'll make this, it's a long story, but I'll make it short.
Mm-hmm.
Filmmaking was not my first choice of career. I actually wanted to be a veterinarian. That's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was set for. It was one of those rare cases where I was in middle school and already knowing what I was going to go to school for. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I love animals, and that's my career. And it was like that for a while. I was doing filmmaking during that period of my life with my cousins and my siblings. We were kind of just making stuff here and there for fun. But that all changed when my older sister snuck me and my brother out of school. Well, I shouldn't say snuck. She took us out. She said we had a doctor's appointment. And she took us to go see
How long has it been since this day?
Let's just say I've been doing filmmaking for almost 15 years.
Okay, she snuck you out. You don't got to lie anymore. The true and all.
She did sneak us out.
Your grandpa was fine.
I know for sure she snuck us into the movie. It was Resident Evil. Obviously, it was rated R, so we weren't allowed to go in. So she snuck us into that, and we saw it. And when those roll credits started, that's when I wanted to do that. I was like, I'm going to be a filmmaker. That's what I'm going to make. And since then, I've stuck with it. I was already writing and directing my own stuff. They both came at the same time. And I've been doing it, like I said, almost 15 years. I was doing short films every weekend. I would learn from each film. I would ask people to be as crucial as they can with them. I would use new techniques in each film. I would make sure I wouldn't make the same mistakes in the next film. And I kind of kept on doing that for years. I think I've done over like 100 short films now.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was going to be, and I'm glad you kind of touched on it, that every short film you did, you tried the different techniques. And really that's how you hone your craft, I think. And that's the only way to hone your craft and see what works, is just to get out there and do it,
Yeah.
And
you have to
don't
just bypass
go ahead.
fear.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know,
you have to make mistakes. It's what makes us who we are now.
It's training for success, making mistakes.
That's right. That's right.
You have to make the mistakes to learn. Definitely.
And what was the first short that you did where you practiced or you used blood and or prosthetics or any kind of like special effects?
That was probably a film called Sheer Death. It was the first time I started messing with like blood and fake blood and all that. That was the first one. And that was actually the one that kind of started making me realize, I think I have something here. My mom and my sister watched it and they were reacting to it. They were scared, they were getting creeped out. And to me, when I was seeing that, I'm like, okay, then I did my job on this short. So let's keep on going. Let's see what else I can do.
Very cool. Now, originally, where are you from?
I am from El Paso, Texas.
El Paso.
Yes, I am. I'm from Texas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then where did you go from El Paso? Because, a lot of people listening, they're scattered all over, the United States or wherever they're listening this. And I think, and I agree, or I buy into this, that, Los Angeles is a place to be and blah, 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 and I think it could be a myth. I'm half 50-50 because Eric is doing good. He's in Jersey. Where did you go from El Paso? Does that
From El
make any
Paso,
sense?
I went. Yeah, definitely. I moved from El Paso to Las Vegas. That's where I went.
Cool.
And that's where I started to do more of my films there. I think that's when I like to say I started doing the more bigger mainstream type stuff for myself. It was a huge step from anything else I had done. I started working on a film called Rust. And Rust was a film that I did with my friends. It was something that I was doing for fun with my friends that ended up getting expanded due to people showing interest and wanting to see more. I ended up expanding it to a feature film. We shot the entire thing in one day.
Oh wow!
I thought that's all I had, but at the location, because we actually were allowed to shoot. We're the only crew allowed to shoot in a haunted house from Las Vegas Haunts. They do haunted houses every October, and they allowed us to use their entire location as our set. As long as they didn't show their product in the order you would walk it if you were to be paying to do the experience.
Right.
So I kind of jumped around. Yeah, I had to do that, obviously out of respect, and I wouldn't do that to them. So we shot the film within a day. And then, like I said, people showed interest, and then I shot a sequel right after. The following year, I shot the sequel. Both films got picked up by Wild Eye Releasings. They should be hitting shelves later this year, I believe, in the fall.
They're a really
and that
well-known distributor for horror stuff. They're all over Amazon.
Wild Eye is amazing for horror films. Yeah, they're really cool with it. They have a lot of titles on them. Yeah. And Rust kind of fit in with them. Rust is a very Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of film. It's a film that I wrote based off of. It's based on a true story. Not every single detail, just certain elements, but it is based on a story from back in Texas. And that was kind of like my first. I want to say it was like my first foot into a major feature film that I had written and directed and edited and did almost everything on it.
That's very cool. Very nice. And I don't know if I said at the first when I introduced you. All right. So would you consider yourself your first and foremost love is horror?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Horror is the one that I would not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know if I said that, but you are a horror screenwriter and a producer, but and director and editor. So and you edit all your films, correct?
I do. Yes, I edit everything that I shoot. Yeah.
What do you use to edit? Do you use a real editing software or Final?
I use Premiere Pro.
Awesome.
I use the Creative Cloud. Is that what it's called? I believe.
Yeah, that's what I use also. Yep. And Larry's gonna start doing it soon too.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Take those crazy wheels off, Larry.
I know. Do you do all your special effects as well?
I do. For my last film, my most recent film is The Immortal Wars. I don't want to dive into that just yet because I still have a horror film I want to talk about.
Yes.
Before I dive into the sci-fi action. So before I get into The Immortal Wars, I'll mention my film right after Rust was A Telephobia. And A Telephobia is a very Saw hostile type of film. Very gory, not for everyone. But A Telephobia was my more personal, it's very dear to me, that film. Only because that film was based off of real experiences from my past. In high school, I was bullied really bad. So I kind of wanted to use A Telephobia as my self-expression, an artistic expression, somewhat like an artistic revenge to those who hurt me in my past. So I like to say it's an artistic horror fantasy film. It's a very macabre type of story, but it was a story that I felt I needed to tell, and I needed to tell it the way I wanted to tell it. I was not going to change it for anyone or for any reason. I was going to stand by my film, which I did. A Telephobia I submitted to over 20 film festivals, and it made it into only 2 of those. And as a filmmaker, I like to learn from everything. So my thing was I wanted to contact the film festivals and ask them, well, why? Why didn't you accept it? And not everyone responded. A few did, and those that did basically just said the film is too extreme. The content is too much. If I can tone it down, they would gladly accept it. But I pull myself back and I'm like, no, I will not alter my film to be accepted. So I stand by my film and it stands as is. And then eventually I was like, I kind of took that as a compliment because a director I look up to a lot, Rob Zombie, goes through that a lot with his films too, where people do not like it. They say it's too much, but it's kind of like, no, it's our art. We're expressing it the way we want to, and we shouldn't have to alter it for people to accept it.
Yeah. You know, that's, you know, some people, you know, musicians, when they have something to get off their chest or to go, okay, you know what, F you, here it is. They write a song and whatever, but, you know, like filmmakers go, you know what, I could do the same dang thing and just cut people up left and right and bleed people to death, you know? But I mean, that's ultimately that's what art is. And, you know, and I understand, and even for a film festival to say, oh man, that's too much, I get it, but that's why you're there, is to push the envelope. I think, maybe, who knows? But
no, I think it is. We're there to make we're there to make an impact, to change the industry in a way we want to where it's something different and can attract the viewers. To me, that's very important.
Yep, for sure. So what is the coolest? Before we move into your next film, what is the coolest practical special effect that you have ever done on one of your films?
Practical effects.
Yes.
Okay.
Like you know, so like cutting somebody's leg off or whatever. Yeah.
So actually on set, that you just called it out. It was getting. I had a scene. In Rough, where the 2 leads are in the middle of the desert. They're kind of like in an abandoned cemetery type of setting, and the killer kind of dumps his bodies there, and they come across one of his victims, a gentleman, and his leg is literally severed off. And it looks so great on camera. It looks really good on camera. But it was the most simple thing that we did. And we basically just dug a little hole. We put his foot in there. We cut the pants. We put dirt and twigs and kind of made it all messy and stuff, drenched it with blood. And we kind of just tossed his leg to the side. So then we actually had a prosthetic leg out there. And it looks so good on camera. That's probably the coolest practical effect I've done to date. Yeah.
That is so
that was awesome. Really fun. Yeah.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah. That is cool.
And didn't cost me anything to do that.
see, that's the best kind. That is the best. Now, do you make your own blood, or do you buy it?
I do. We do make our own blood. Yeah. We do. I think we kind of mix some like actual fake blood, and we mix it with corn syrup. We add a little bit of food coloring just to kind of make it a little bit more like authentic blood.
Right. Yeah.
Let's all give our recipes for fake blood.
That's right. Oh God. Well, you know, actually, I believe, Eric, the last time I made my fake blood is we used chocolate and corn syrup.
Really?
I've heard chocolate work.
Yeah, it does. It really, you know, it thickens it up. But yeah. And just
syrup. Yeah. And food coloring.
Yeah. Yep. Now the chocolate tasted really great, and the corn syrup. So while we were cutting somebody up, he was like, man, this thing, you're not supposed to lick it, man. It'd be good. Come on.
Was that for
scream a little bit? What is it?
Was that for spare parts?
Oh, recycle parts. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. And Joe, like listening to you, I mean, the people that have done like, are able to shoot and have done special effects, they're listening to your story going, oh man, that sounds so cool. But I remember when I did mine too. So that's good, man. That's good. You brought everybody back to a great memory. So it's good.
Yeah,
it's very good.
To me, it's one of my favorite memories. It really is.
That's good. That's very good. Now, the one thing that caught my attention for your new movie that you have, it's what, the Immortal Wars?
The Immortal Wars.
Is that what it is?
The most recent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, now that's that's what that would be sci-fi, correct?
That is sci-fi action. Yeah, I did dab a little into the horror element a little bit in the Immortal Wars. There is a scary scene that I even saw reactions of those who watched it in the theater. They got creeped out over it. So I do have a minor horror scene in there. It's a pretty creepy scene.
That's cool. That's cool. Now you wrote this as well.
Yes. The Immortal Wars is actually based off of a comic book series that I have. I got all of my characters and I brought them to life in this series.
Cool.
Joe,
Well,
try to be more active, man. You're slacking off a little bit.
Don't get me started.
Comics, man. You need to get more active and do more.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, how did
slack it?
yeah, no doubt. How did the comic book come about?
Well, actually, the comic book I first did my first like little mini comic, online comic, when I was attending college, when I was going to school for filmmaking. It was kind of like my little hobby. When I was just stressed over school or classes, I was doing that as a hobby. I was just kind of sketching things, putting things together, already creating this universe that I was like, no one's ever going to see this. This is just something I'm doing for fun. But I put it on the back burner, obviously, because I focused on film, and that's what I was doing. And once I finished a Telephobia 2, because a Telephobia also had a sequel, my investor had asked me if I had something, and we had learned after doing a few film markets, horror film isn't for everyone. It has its own following. So when we had this meeting, he had asked me, do you have anything for a more broad audience, something that'll, be and catch more eyes? And I had told him, I do have this one concept I did years ago. And I showed him my sketches. I had already written a short script. He read it and he loved it. And he had asked me, do you have enough juice for this? You can make this into a feature. And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. I went the following day and wrote an entire trilogy. And that's how my comic book characters came to life.
A whole trilogy?
Wow.
A whole trilogy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how the comic book came to play. But the comic book hadn't gotten published or anything at that point. We were just going to work on the film. So we started production on the film. Production on The Immortal Wars took 25 days. Another thing that I learned from my past films were, for distribution, to get better deals, to get a better distribution company, you need to have a key actor. And it was something that I learned the hard way. After getting chewed to pieces at a film market for Telephobia, I learned I need to get a key actor. Me and my investor had sat there and we were sitting there with, all right, we have to use whatever connections we have. We have to find some key actors that are going to draw people's eyes, that will attract the audience. So obviously staying within budget and trying to find someone that will work for us, obviously, since it's a non-union film as well. We have to go for people who would want to work with us. So we ended up bringing up Eric Roberts on board.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, man. You got Eric freaking Roberts, the Pope of Village, is in your...
He plays... Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's amazing. He plays my main villain. My main villain. He plays Dominion Harvey in the film.
Wow.
So it was cool to see him on set, to have him on set, for him to become a character that I wrote and that I created. I was a fan of Eric for a while. From as far as I can remember, he was in a film that I was obsessed with called DOA. I
You
don't know
know
if you guys
what?
caught that
That
one.
is an underrated movie. People
It
always
is.
badmouth video game movies,
I
but that was a
that is
pretty
such a
fun
good
one.
one. It was. I still watch it to this day. Whenever I'm like, you know what, let's watch it. And I till that since I saw that film, I was like, Eric Roberts was just a badass to me. So having him on board on my film was honestly like a dream come true to have him, and it was amazing. Another other two that we brought up was Tom Sizemore. He's also in the film.
That's
He plays
other
one of
fun.
our main fighters.
Wow.
And Bill Overs Jr., who is the sweetest guy ever. He's a class act. He was just amazing to have on set.
Wow.
Yeah, so having them three, and then combining them with the cast that I put together for my main fighters and my lead cast, it was just amazing to see all those characters to life. I remember when the first day I had the actor who was playing Tricalypse, who was my main character, where the entire story came to life. She walked past me in her costume, and I was like, "Whoa, this is insane!" To see Tricalypse walking right in front of me, a real person, was insane to see. It was surreal. It really was.
The same thing
But yeah,
happened to me when I was making one of my first like big deal short. I had a blind psychic in it, a blind psychic medium, and the actress, had to put the blind contact lenses in. So I'm in the backyard of where we're filming, and the actress comes in with the glass, the contact lenses, and people were holding her, and I was just so overwhelmed. I wanted to cry.
yeah, it is an amazing feeling to have that. It really is.
Yeah,
It really, really is.
it's life-changing.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah, and that's something that I was just. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that feeling, but it was great just to see that, and and the things, the elements, and what these veterans in the industry brought to my film, even more so made it more of an experience. It was so much fun. It really was. We wrapped the film, and talking about the special effects. When it came to the Immortal Wars, I had a CGI team already on board before we started production. But things didn't go as planned. They got pulled into another project, so I was left with no CGI crew for this film.
Oh.
And it was heavy on visual effects, and I was kind of freaking out for a while. And I know it was one day that me and the producer sat there, and we were kind of like, what do we do? What do we do? And it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, I'll do it. And I stood there, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? You have no idea how to do any of this. I was like, you were making the biggest mistake you can do right now. And he was like, all right, good. He was up, and we'll go with that. We'll have a good day. We'll see you later. And he left, and I sat there in my apartment, and I was like, what did you just do? And I was freaking out. But it worked out. Thank you, YouTube, because I had teenagers tell me what to do.
Hey, I learned everything I know from editing because of YouTube.
Yeah. I'm like, thank you, kids.
Great.
You guys saved my life. Yeah. And I ended up doing it, so I did all the visual CGI effects for the Immortal Wars. Yeah, I did that.
Wow. Wow.
It was a year of editing. It took a year to edit the film. And 8 months out of that year were solely for CGI.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I can imagine. That's one of the things. I think it's. I'm trying to pose this question, but I think 90% of shooting a movie or putting a movie together or doing anything creative is saying yes to it.
Yeah.
Just like what
just
you
jumping
said.
Straight into it. Yep.
Yeah. And because you can't dip your toe in, you go, I guess I can kind of try. And then it's like, no, man. Because if you're not fully on, but so much is like, all you got to do is just say yes. And then with that yes, you'll figure it out, I think. Because I mean, just what you said, you were just like, I'll do it. And then you were like, oh, crap. But then you were like, no, let's do it, man. And
Yeah.
A year
I hit
later.
that point where I'm like, you got to figure it out. Regardless, you already
Yeah.
said it. There's no going back after you say it. So you got to figure it out like now. And I did. I did.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And so now, before I make this statement, we're going to have all your links and stuff to your website and posted in the description. But just perusing your website, I see that you're going to be all over the place in Walmart, in I was going to say Blockbuster, but
I wish. Oh, that'd be so amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, you really you've got it out there. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah,
people can go pick it up.
Yes, it will. Well, not yet. On July 3rd. On July 3rd, you will be able to get your copies. The Immortal Wars was picked up by ITN Distribution. That is the same company that picked up the Telus Ouvea for distribution as well. And E1 Entertainment also is involved, and I think I've heard that Sony is behind it as well. Sony. Knowing that Sony was behind the film was a huge dream come true. They're not behind it 100% as far as the distribution for it, but the fact that they're just involved somehow, it's just an accomplishment for myself, and it's more of a push and more of a drive that it gave me to even push harder on the next one. So it's really cool to see that finally come to fruition, and like I said, that July 3rd is the day where everyone can get their hands on the Immortal Wars. So it's exciting. Really is exciting.
I just gotta say, man, congratulations, because you are. When I first entered,
huge thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, you are where filmmakers who are not Steven Spielberg or fill in the blank, that's where we all want to be, where you are. So, man, you're blessed, bro. Good job.
Yes,
congratulations.
Definitely. Thank you. I truly am.
I will be purchasing a copy of the movie on July 3rd, because I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but I've completely given up on big Hollywood. I don't go to superhero movies anymore. I still haven't seen Solo yet because I'm trying to support more indie films. The only movie this year released by a major studio I'm going to see is Halloween. And that's only
I can't wait for
technically being released by Universal. Hey, are you going to be free tomorrow, Joe?
Tomorrow. I will be free in the afternoon. Well, no, I should say before afternoon, just because I am the city producer for the Las Vegas 48-hour film project.
Oh, okay. Because me and my buddy Dylan, Slasher Movie Review on here, we're going to be doing a breakdown of the trailer tomorrow at noon.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Be part of it.
Oh, that would have been awesome. It definitely would have been awesome.
All right, tangent over.
Well, I tell you what, man. Actually, there is one thing, because I know a lot of people listening to this, and we don't have to talk too much in detail, but how did you come across an investor? Because a lot of people are like, oh man, this is great, but and you don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but listening to you, I think that's the big part of it, because we were just talking to another guy, Jeremy Luter, who and he's from Canada, and and this is the thing about Canada. I don't know if you know this, but they have a bunch of grants and stuff, and that's how he got started doing films and breaking in to films. And so, what is the best way to reach out to an investor if it's not Indiegogo, if it's not fill in the blank, all the other crowdfunding. What can people do to get noticed?
Well, it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
What I can say is I'll say this. I can say I'll make the story short. When it came to Atelophobia, this is where it happened. When it came to Atelophobia, I was self-funding that myself. So I was doing everything out of pocket. But it took me 4 years to make that film, and within that 4 years, I had spent all that I had on that film. I had nothing left, so I ran out of funds. I was already in post-production, but I still had a lot of things I had to get and take care of for the film to be completed. So I think I was raising like around 5,000 is what I was like. With that, I can finish. I know I can finish with that. So I ran an Indiegogo campaign. I did a whole video. I did all perks. I did everything. We didn't make even a quarter of what I was asking for. It failed. But that's when this investor saw the campaign and he contacted me. We had a meeting, and basically he is a very, very businessman. So he wanted to know every single detail. And as a filmmaker, I hadn't dabbed into any of the business stuff yet. It was all just about the creative part. So everything was new to me. And he was asking me things where I was like, I don't know, but I will figure out. Or, that was my response to a lot of things at that point. So he's like, well, break it down for me. Let me know where everything's going to go, and we can talk after that. I'm like, okay. So I spent a day breaking every single penny down, where exactly every single dime was going to go to. I was doing pie charts and doing this and breaking down like, if we do get a deal for this, you could get this back, and the return would be this. Potentially it would be this. I wouldn't guarantee anything, but kind of give them numbers. And I did that. I did this whole packet. I went to go get it nicely printed in this nice folder. It was binded. It was this insane packet that I did for the investor. I met up with him the following week, and he sat there, went over it, and that day he handed me the check, and he's like, all right, finish your film.
How did that
Wow.
feel?
And it was like, whoa, okay. After that, he then soon signed and backed anything that I did. And he is the executive producer for all of my films as of right now. Yeah. He really does believe in my craziness.
Well, that goes back to believing, when you say yes to something, obviously, like we talked about it, but you said yes because you believe in yourself. You knew you could do it, and you would find a way. And I think just hearing you say that, this investor saw that you knew what you were doing, and it wasn't just some, it made sense to him what you were saying, because I'll go figure it out. I'll just do it. Yeah, let's just do it. And I think there is a purity and an honest that people with money, and this sounds weird, they can sense that. They can sense that, and they know that you know what you're talking about. And I mean that, and I'm telling you, Joe, man, you do, just by talking to you and seeing all your stuff. I mean, you're right on the cusp, man. So congratulations. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
God.
Thank you. It's still a learning thing. I'm still learning every single day, and I'll continue to learn. Every single day I continue to learn when it comes to this business. You learn something new or something you did not even think of, you'll learn every single day in this industry. But I'm willing to keep on
that's a problem.
Yes. Yeah. If you are going around thinking you know everything, then that's not right. That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like you just said too, though, about the business. And that's so important, because creative people think that, oh man, I'll have my agent or my manager or my producer do all that stuff. And then it's like, they look around and it's like, oh wait, I don't have anybody really to talk to about that stuff. It's just me. And so obviously there was a steep learning curve, but again, it's like that yes man, when you just say yes and you see where it goes. and
Yeah.
you just learn, you pick it up. So I mean, you're an inspiration, like I'm speaking for me, and hopefully other people that are listening to this that are thinking about doing something or wanting to do something. You just got to go do it, and it's just so inspiring just to be able to talk to you, man. So
thank you. It's something that I want to, push. I know I have a lot of friends who are also filmmakers, and it's sad to say, but they let their fears and their insecurities take over what they want to do. It scares them into stopping projects that they don't finish, and I'm constantly on them, and as a friend, I'm like, you have to finish everything you start. Don't leave anything unfinished. It will come back and haunt you if you do not. I know that from experience. I think it was the end of last year where I was sitting there and I'm like, I have this film that I left. All the footage was on this external drive, and I'm like, you know what? It was done 5 years ago. I'm gonna finish it. I have to finish it, and I did. It's not. I can't compare it to my most recent work, but at that time it was the best that I could do, and I was proud of it at that time. But I didn't leave it unfinished.
That's great. So we're learning a lot about. I mean, that's basic like filmmaking 101. I think is to don't leave something unfinished, because it's not good, because once you leave one thing unfinished, you'll leave everything unfinished.
Yeah,
and
it becomes a habit. And
Yep. Man, Joe, I don't, I was going to say, do you have any advice to anybody out there that is thinking about doing it? But I think you've already given it. I mean, it's just do it. And everybody's scared. Everybody's this and that, but you just go do it.
You can't let those fears can like really affect you business wise, as an artist. Yeah. And I get it. I'm scared every time I start something new. I get terrified. And it still happens to this day, but it's kind of like, you got to just dive in and do it. A perfect example was yesterday, in Vegas, there was this filmmaker spotlight that a fellow director, friend of mine, was hosting for me at a place called Any Film Factory. And it was the first time I was going to speak in front of a group where I've spoken in front of groups before, like at a premiere, at a mixer or something like that. I've spoken, but this time it was like I was actually going to be up front. The spotlight was going to be on me.
Wow.
This event was specifically so that people could ask about my story and ask about my career and give them tips and stuff like that. So the pressure was really on me, and I started getting anxiety before, and I'm sorry?
Yeah, no pressure when it comes to something like that.
I know. And it was very overwhelming at one point, and I have this amazing support group. My family is amazing. They back me up, and they're there when I need them, and they just the most amazing support group I have with them. And usually when I hit those points where I'm getting anxiety and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can do this. The first person I call is my mom. She's the first person I will call, and she's the one to be like, shut up. You're fine. You've done this plenty of times. You just got to jump in there and do it. And I'm just like, I know, but there's this. And she's like, no, you stop. She goes, you've done this. She goes, you've spoken in a theater with hundreds of people and you're fine. I'm like, yeah, but it's dark. Like I can't see anyone really. I'm like, this time I will see everyone, but I ended up, she helped me get off that whole fear thing. And I dived in there. I jumped in there within the first 5 minutes. I was sitting slouching over the seat, and I'm talking, and I was so comfortable. It was just getting over those initial nerves and fears, but it ended up going out very well. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Joe, I tell you what, man, anything else you have going on and you want to talk about, you want to complain about something, vent anything film-wise, let us know what you got going on. Please do not hesitate.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to
I tell you.
Yes. I will. For those who will be around the area, I will be at the Las Vegas Comic-Con later this month.
Cool.
I will be debuting the second issue of The Vanquishers, which is my comic book series. Issue 1 is on stands now, so people can get their copies now. But I will be debuting issue 2 at Comic-Con, and then soon after that, I'll be doing a set of book signings. I'll be on another mini book signing tour for the next issue. I know there's a few dates in Texas that's booked, as well as Nevada, ones in LA. But more dates will be coming sooner. Sooner this month, I'll start getting more dates. But yeah,
Cool.
Again, The Vanquishers is the comic book that The Immortal Wars is based off. So people can read the stories of the book and then get their hands on the copy of the film in July, as well as watch a miniseries called The Dawning, which is a spin-off miniseries of The Immortal Wars. And it's origin stories to all the main characters, and that is streaming for free online right now on
what?
website. So, yeah.
Cool. We will have all those links posted, and they can keep up with you. All those dates, those will be on your website as well.
Yeah,
I would assume.
all that will be on my website, as well as all social media. Yeah, we're all over social media. Just search Joe Lujan or Cosmic Studios, and you'll find us on social media. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Joe, I mean, I can honestly say you are an inspiration. I want to go out. And I want to
having you on, man.
Oh yeah, I want to go pick up
much.
a camera and cut somebody's leg off right now. So
thank you guys for having
for a
me.
movie.
Oh yeah, no, that's right, for a movie, yeah. No, that's right. Joe,
thank you guys so much for having me.
Much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, everyone,
Absolutely. Let's do it again.
We just want to thank Joe once again for coming on the show. Joe, we wish you luck in all your future adventures. And please come back anytime. And everybody listening to this, have a happy and safe weekend.
Thank you.